Hello, I'm Langston, and I'm back on my channel, Military Election Forecasting. Today I'm going to be talking about my beef with political YouTube, and I just wanted to kind of get this video out. It's not going to be that long, but political YouTube is really frustrating. It's really out of touch with America's electorate, and realistically, I just don't like the space, to be honest. I don't really like any of the channels on the space. I think they're all somewhat just not in touch with America and in touch with the people that live in the country and have a very one-sided perspective of what America actually is, as well as the world. That's something I just can't really vibe with, in my opinion. Political YouTube is all white, practically all male space, and that is just not representative of America. And it's really frustrating because you hear these people talking about all of these different groups of people that they don't represent, that they probably never even been around. Because if you hear them, it's clear that they're not really in touch with the majority of how America feels. And it's something that's really like kind of frustrating to watch. And at this point, I'm just gonna stop commenting on people's channels. Just I'm just gonna stop doing it because I don't see the point of even trying to have conversation with people that's just so out of touch with reality. That's that. So let me go in depth as to what I mean by this. So multiple things I want to talk about. So in the first context, I think is sex. There are no women on political YouTube, and the majority of America's electorate is female. So the fact that, we don't really have a lot of women on this space that talk about, politics from their perspective is something that I find kind of delusional. Like, it doesn't make sense how women clearly care the most about politics, but aren't really represented in the space. And I don't blame them for starting channels like this because you're dealing with people that just think they know everything, but they really don't. And that kind of stuff is frustrating, just to put it blunt. Another thing is race. I think people are just so out of touch with race in America, in particular, race in politics. Unfortunately, race matters more than probably anything else in politics. That's just what it is. Like, you can track neighborhoods by race. Like, you can literally see who's going to win elections based off race in America. And people either don't talk about that or disenfranchise who they talk about. And this is something else I want to talk in because something that I really hate the most about political YouTube is the word minorities. I hear that word all the time, minorities, minorities, minorities. Number one, number one, minorities aren't even a minority in every state. So you're wrong. Like in Nevada in particular and in Georgia, people of color are actually the majority. So minorities are not even the minority in a lot of these states anymore, and they're not going to be the minority for much longer. So calling them minorities is delusional, as well as just people of color in general, because I think there's a difference between black people and Asian people and Hispanic people, and I think that they deserve their props. So stop trying to group them all together. They're not the same. There's a difference between black people in Milwaukee and Cuban and white Cuban people in Miami because black Cuban people are still voting Democratic. So there's a difference between white Cubans in Miami and black people in Milwaukee. Stop trying to act like they're the same. They're not. They don't think the same. They never viewed themselves as the same. And I think it's really delusional when people try to group them together. If y'all can distinguish college educated white voters and non college educated white voters and et cetera, and suburban and educated, like if y'all can distinguish all of these groups of people, y'all can distinguish these major demographic groups. As well as I think people really just underrate black people in general and just don't give black people the props they deserve. Something that really frustrates me is every time people talk about black people, they want to talk about people of color and diversification. No, it's black people. It's not. It's not people of color. It's not any of that stuff. It's black people, and you need to give them their props. Who is the people of color in Henry County? Because I'm not trying to be rude. Like y'all be hearing them talk about the Atlanta suburbs, the people who's the people of color in the Atlanta suburbs? There's black people. But what are you talking about? So stop trying to take away from the credit of black people and give them their props. Like it's really frustrating to me. And I'm not gonna sit about like they don't do that to other communities, but I see happen to black people the most. When people talk about Texas, they talk about Hispanic people. When they talk about Arizona, they talk about Hispanic voters. But when it's time to talk about Georgia and North Carolina and in the Rust Belt, it's people of color. It's minorities. No, it's black people. It's black voters. Y'all need to give them their props. And it's really frustrating hearing people try to change who you are. Like I'm not a minority, I'm a black person. And I feel like that's not even delusional to say. So I acknowledge the fact that, there's differences, but again, some of y'all are just so out of touch. And y'all can't even pronounce counties correctly. Like y'all can't even pronounce the areas you're talking about correctly because you're that out of touch. And you clearly don't have a diverse friend group because if you did, you wouldn't be talking how you do about these areas. So again, y'all are out of touch and it really shows that, and it's really frustrating to be a part of this space and just to just watch y'all just BS. So I know this video is very negative. I'm probably gonna get a lot of controversy for this, but this video is to be controversial. Like I literally posting this to be controversial, and I don't take it back. I mean all offense, and I'm not specifically targeting one person, but this is the whole YouTube space. It's the whole damn space. And it's really frustrating to me trying to be a part of this space when you're running into people like this. So this is all I really want to talk about. I just wanted to make a quick video about this really quickly because I thought it was a very pressing topic. So make sure to have a nice day, you guys. Please comment how you feel about this because I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I just blunt enough to talk about it. But make sure to have a nice day, you guys. Goodbye.